Our next session is Building Sustainable Digital ID Capacity in Africa, and we have Dr. Houda Chakiri who will be moderating this session.
Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. How are you doing? How are you doing? All right. If I could get the slides up. Okay. All right, so my name is Musoke. I'm definitely not Dr. Houda. And I'm going to be giving just a brief introduction to the session, and then I'll hand over to the rest of the panelists. So we're going to do just a little exercise, right? We've spent the majority of the conference talking about the successes in the past. I want us to look into the future for a second. So just quickly, we're going to transport ourselves into the future, right? So just close your eyes and imagine something. We've been chasing success, right? This thing called DPI, digital ID, and so on. Imagine we are in that future, 10 years, 5 years, and so on, and finally we have everything we've been wishing for. What does that look like? So shall we be a victim of our own success, or can we answer these questions, right? Who is going to be maintaining, upgrading, and securing this DPI if it was to happen tomorrow, right? And are we ready to reap all the utility and all the benefits that we've been discussing from digital ID and from DPI? So this is a question I want you to have in your mind as we go through the rest of the session. I'm a research engineer from Upanzi. It's a global network of labs, but localized as well in Africa, Morocco being one of the nodes that we have. We do several research in different areas across the DPI spectrum. Particularly, we shall be talking about our capacity building arm. Like I mentioned, we're going to talk about digital identity, but particularly capacity building. So that future that I asked you to imagine, if it was happening tomorrow, how would you prepare for it 10 years ago? We would be looking at the people today and asking ourselves, do we have the capacity to implement the systems that have been deployed by company X and company Y, right? So the hackathon is coming in to solve this challenge, and we do it through a gamified process where we involve university students to think about digital public infrastructure, specifically digital identity, and think about the challenges that they're facing in their local context, in their communities, and let us know exactly how they think digital identity can solve these challenges for them, as well as building the prototypes of these solutions. So briefly, how the hackathon works is that we go through the whole launch process. Students go through an idea submission phase, which lasts about 6 weeks or so. And from those ideas, we select the top teams per region, and then we put them through a mentored prototyping phase. And then moving on to the regional semifinals, finally the continental finals, which last year were held at ID for Africa. But then we do not stop there, which is the key thing. Throughout the entire process, we're educating, mentoring, and offering opportunities to this community of practice, and at the same time, trying to make sure that these are ready within, we have a community that is going to readily be available to solve those challenges that we shall face in the next 10 years. So at a glance, we had the previous session, the previous hackathon, looking at hosting 600 participants from over 20 countries, and also definitely we were looking at having female participation as a key indicator of inclusivity for digital identity. So some of the use cases that students came up with, it's a range of all the industries that we've been focusing on, and eventually these students, like I mentioned, we're looking at building a healthy community of practice around digital identity, so that if you are a company or a government, you have a pool to pick from in the next couple of years once you have your ID systems up and running. So we have some delegates here with us who are going to better inform us about the experience that they had during the hackathon itself. All right, so if you want to connect or participate, just take a screenshot of this. It will be important a little bit later. So allow me to take this opportunity to introduce our moderator for the panel, Dr. Houda, an assistant professor in computer science at Akhawayn University in Morocco, and has had various experience across the digital transformation journey of Morocco, as well as being a member and chair of several institutions that are advocating for African and Arab women in IT. So please hand to welcome the panel.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for the introduction. Without any further delay, I mean, you already introduced me, Andrew. I'm glad to have in my panel representatives from the Generation Z, from Gen Z. So, and bear with me, I will be moderating this panel both in French and English. So please try to switch in the application for translation purposes. So I will start with ladies first, and I will ask Aminata, introduisez-vous, dites-nous un peu votre parcours, et partagez avec nous votre parcours, mais aussi l'idée de votre projet.
Ok, merci Houda. Donc bonjour à tous, moi c'est Aminata de l'équipe rétro avec mes coéquipiers là-bas. Bon, mon profil c'est plutôt parce que actuellement je suis un élève ingénieur en aéronautique spatiale. Donc mon profil est carrément distinct de mes coéquipiers, eux sont des IT. Et on vient de l'école Polytechnique de Thiès au Sénégal. Donc notre solution, c'est qu'on a nommé d'ailleurs LifeLink, est une solution digitale basée sur l'identité numérique à travers e-signet et NG de MOSIP. L'idée c'était de connecter les donneurs de sang, de faciliter le processus du don de sang et en même temps profiter pour sensibiliser la population sur l'importance de cet acte noble.
Comment s'appelle le nom de votre projet?
C'est LifeLink.
LifeLink?
LifeLink.
Excellent, excellent. Je passe le micro à Younes. Younes, please introduce yourself and talk to us about your idea.
Hello everyone, I'm Lamhamedi-Cherradi Younes. I'm a computer science student at Akhawayn University. First, I'm going to say thank you to MOSIP and GM6P for giving us the opportunity today to share our project and to contribute to the ecosystem of MOSIP. Our project is the following. We are trying to create a digital energy IDs for every property in Morocco. We can imagine it like this. Every property in Morocco gonna have its own energy passport. This energy passport gonna contain all the information about that property. The property owner, the level of consumption, any areas of improvement regarding energy. Our solution gonna be used by the government to have a unified system to track and monitor energy for citizens. So we can make sure every citizen can get equal amount of subsidies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Younes. Let me go to Anshul. Anshul, you've been accompanying us during this journey, last year, and you have mentored some teams along the way. I would like you to give your perspective about what does it mean, digital ID capacity building in Africa, or in practice.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Houda. And first of all, I'm not Gen Z, so just to start with, these two people are, of course. I think I would like to start by saying that I think when we have, as a firm, we have been working in the continent for more than 20 years now. And many a time when we talk about DPI or ID in Africa, sometimes we hear that there's a limited capacity, some capacity is a challenge. And I think when I look at the young innovators that we are seeing on both sides of mine, also in the room and outside, I very strongly disagree with their statement. And I can tell you with very real examples. When we were working with the teams, when I represented of 20 plus countries, many of those teams actually were using MoSIP Sandbox, using eSignet, INGI. We were extremely amazed in a very pleasant way that they developed the prototypes of those ID solutions in less than 4 weeks. So thinking about that, how they could take months to develop such prototypes, if these young innovators, these young minds, these pioneers are able to build these ID prototypes in less than 4 weeks, I think this shows the kind of capacity that lies within the continent. So that is one. The second thing is that it's not just about one country or two countries, but I think something that we have noticed across the continent in very deeper parts, because see, these are university students. They are not even out from the education in their third year, fourth year of undergraduate programs or early of graduate program. If they can develop these ID solutions in such a less amount of time, imagine the startups and the innovators community across the continent can develop. So I think there's a lot of great capacity when it comes to ID, DPI lies in the continent. I think what was missing was to give a proper platform to channelize it and bring these innovations to the heart where it belongs. So I think this is what the hackathon and we are trying to do. So.
Thank you, Anshul. Indeed, there are lots of opportunities in this sense. Let me go back to Aminata. Aminata, pouvez-vous nous parler un peu de comment vous, quelle était votre motivation pour créer le projet que vous avez créé?
Oh, ok.
Je rappelle que l'équipe de Aminata ont été les champions du hackathon.
Ok. Donc nous, disons au début, bon, comme on vit, nous on est au Sénégal, on vient du Sénégal, donc on avait fait une remarque là-bas, il y avait beaucoup de décès liés aux pénuries de sang. Bon, les institutions sanitaires aussi, parfois ils faisaient des campagnes, mais l'information ne passait pas. Quand il y avait des cas d'urgence, les gens publiaient l'information à travers des plateformes sociales comme WhatsApp et autres. Ce n'était pas bien centralisé. Donc, c'est pour cela qu'on a décidé d'agir à travers LifeLink pour permettre de résoudre ce problème.
D'accord. I switch to English and then give the floor to Younes. From where did you get the idea? I mean, what was the need, the motivation behind the idea?
Like, the motivation behind our idea is the following. Morocco has an issue with the energy sector. We have private companies that are taking the energy sector in Morocco, which is bad because they got a lot of margins, a high margins. However, our solution gonna democratize the energy sector by having a unified system that can help the government track and monitor energy for all Moroccan citizens. And also, Morocco, with the Morocco 2030 vision, is implementing something called la CRM, which stands for Les Sociétés Régionales Multiservices, which means in every region in Morocco, we won't have Redal, LIDEC, Lagadef, or something. We're gonna have SRM, Société Régionale Multiservice, that's gonna manage energy sector in every region in Morocco. And using our solution, we're gonna help La CRM to improve and scale all the regions in Morocco.
Thank you, Younes. Anshul, I mean, among the partners that we had in the hackathon, or the main partners that we had in the hackathon, it's our universities, because these are student-led projects. Now we have in the room here many stakeholders, many potential partners. If they are to contribute with something, what would you like to have them contribute with, concretely?
Yeah. So actually they can contribute in a very, very effective and collaborative way. I think the first and foremost is the ID authorities, whom we also have, like a couple of them were judges. I think Rosemary herself was the judge in the last year edition. So of course for the ID authorities, the biggest advantage is that they get some fantastic use cases. I think the problem of blood donation in Senegal or energy in Morocco, I think how ID can actually solve a lot of these problems. I think not many ID authorities could have think on their own. So I think what they get is fantastic use cases and innovative use cases of ID authorities. That is the primary engagement. They can also pilot some of the use cases as we are seeing in other countries as well. For private sector, there's a lot of young innovators who can also be potential startups or also can be a potential employees. But I think for the wider ecosystem, which includes the innovators, private equity investors, funders, donors, everyone, I think a lot of these ideas can also be developed into startups going forward, which we are also trying to run a pre-incubation program, so that tomorrow you don't have just these as use cases, but as promising solution providers or companies solving real challenges for Africa in Africa.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Anshul. Je reviens vers Aminata. Aminata, au-delà de la technologie ou de l'apprentissage que vous avez eu avec l'équipe côté technologique, votre compréhension de l'identité digitale a certainement changé. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous parler un peu de votre expérience?
Oh, oui, tout à fait. En fait, parce que moi, disons, il y a un an de cela, je ne savais même pas c'est quoi DPI, DPG. Je l'ai découvert à travers le hackathon et les conférences et tout ça. L'identité numérique aussi, c'était pareil. Je pensais que c'était juste créer un compte, se connecter, avoir une identité virtuelle. Mais en réalité, c'est tout à fait autre chose. Et que c'est tout un écosystème complet. Donc, bon, j'ai beaucoup appris à travers le hackathon, les idées qu'on a développées, comment on l'a mis en place, MOSIP, etc. Donc, l'idée que j'avais, disons, ça a carrément changé le paradigme que j'avais sur l'identité numérique.
Très bien, donc cet écosystème fournit une plateforme d'apprentissage pour les étudiants, pour les jeunes générations, pas seulement au niveau technique, mais aussi au niveau domaine, mais aussi au niveau, c'est-à-dire apprentissage avec impact. Younes, ma question, I will ask my question in English. Do you feel this experience positioned you differently to contribute to the Morocco's digital ecosystem?
The answer is yes, absolutely yes. Our project aims to contribute to Morocco 2030 vision, which accelerates the country's digital transformation. Our project is not about having a solution and using MOSEP to just having a solution. We are trying to find a way to help Morocco to have a lot of opportunities for Moroccans. For instance, I had a great discussion with the representative of the Ministry of Interior and some representative of l'UM6P. They are working on projects regarding MOSEP. There is a huge need in terms of skills, people who know how to work with MOSEP. And they believe having skills and working with MOSEP, NG and Signet gonna position me very well in the market and having good opportunities to contribute to Morocco 2030 vision.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, this brings me to the question to Anshul. Why this capacity building is very important now to develop the DPI ecosystem and skills in Morocco and in the continent?
So I think there are a couple of reasons to it. So the first and foremost is that digitization journey of countries is not new. It has been happening for a very long time. But I think the whole DPI lens or DPI approach towards development is relatively new. So because it's a more interdisciplinary, multi-connected, multifaceted approach, so we need the innovators, the young solution developers who actually can have the systemic thinking to solutions. I think that has changed dramatically over the past 4 or 5 years. Pandemic has taught us very, very clearly that we have to have this DPI-led system-based thinking to that solutions. So I think this is why I think we need a very different kind of focus on capacity building when it comes to the ongoing digitization or digital transformation efforts in Morocco or in the continent. And I think this is where the hackathon grades perfectly well, because it not only teaches them on how to use MOSEP, INGI or eSignet, what it teaches them to how to use a DPI-led thinking to solve the societal challenges. And I think that is what makes them apart, or what we are trying to solve for, as we try to go forward. And there's one last thing I want to add, that capacity is also a two-way street. You cannot train or build capacity of people who do not want to be trained or have built capacity. And I think in my experience and across all the mentors with whom we and the team that we engaged, I think we all were presently excited, motivated from the energy and the participation of these young innovators. They have given a lot of their time, especially on the weekends, after classes. So I think the whole notion of that university students are not serious is very, very wrong. And I think they have proved through this lot of ecosystem sitting here at ID for Africa, that the world could not be more wrong in not taking these young innovators seriously at this stage. They will make their way no matter where we are.
Thank you, Anshul. Indeed, innovation without impact will not help us change our continent. And I would like to share an anecdote recently with my students in software engineering. I gave them a classwork, a project to work on digital ideas around environment, enhancing the environment, and some of them were not excited about it. And I asked them, why aren't you excited? Why making a software engineer that does not solve any giving any impactful solution in his in the country? They said it does not bring money. I said just work, money will come by itself. Just to close this panel, I would like to share an information is that Aminata is a female representative, and behind her there are 3 gentlemen that are sitting in the back. I would like to call them to stand up and we can applaud them. Younes is the male representative and behind him there are 3 female engineers. Unfortunately, they are all, engaged in other work, but we can applaud them as well. And to conclude, I would like to give to each of you 1 minute to give me a concluding remark. We'll start with Aminata. Un mot.
Je vais juste dire que, d'après l'expérience que j'ai acquise à travers l'hackathon, je peux dire, je suis l'exemple parfait. Aujourd'hui, on ne peut pas construire une identité numérique en Afrique sans pour autant construire la confiance de ses composants, qui est la population africaine.
Excellent mot de fermeture. Anshul?
I would just say that the journey of DPI-led innovation has been there for past some time. But I think the journey of youth-led DPI innovation is currently underway, and it will only get stronger. I would just end.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Anshul. Younes?
Based on my experience with the Digital ID Hackathon, I believe that building a digital ID solution is not enough on its own. We still need collaboration between African countries. We still need partnership, exchange of expertise. And from here, I just want to say one thing to Mosep. Why not having or creating certificates for students and people to learn about e-signature, about INGI. Also, I want to mention that Africa's greatest resource is its people. And I want to close by this. If you want to go alone, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. However, if you want to go far, we should go together. Africa, we should go together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your attention.